Support for this podcast comes from listeners and St. Alphonsus Health System, a regional network of hospitals, clinics, and care providers. St. Alphonsus offers comprehensive healthcare services to individuals and families throughout the community. More information about services and locations is available at stalphonsus.org.
From Boise State Public Radio, this is The Connector. It's Idaho's Daily News. Good morning. I'm George Prentice. This morning, we're going to tell you that the city of Boise and other communities in the Treasure Valley have a rat problem. Plus, we'll tell you why city council members aren't getting along right now in Ketchum. It is Wednesday, the 22nd of October, and here we go with today's stories. We are getting some, not all, but some information regarding that FBI raid at a Canyon County horse racing track this past weekend. By now, you've heard that the FBI acted along with agents of ICE to execute a search warrant at the racetrack in Wilder. The FBI was going to answer some questions from the press on Monday, but that did not happen. All federal officials are saying now is that 105 people that they claimed were undocumented immigrants were arrested. FBI agents said a total of 5 people were arrested in connection with an alleged gambling operation at the track. A local immigration attorney insisted that some of those arrested by immigration officers were children who had their hands zip-tied. A spokesperson for Homeland Security pushed back, saying they do not zip-tie the hands of children. Yesterday, Governor Brad Little issued a brief statement which didn't say much more than to confirm that the state of Idaho provided support in connection with the raid. At Boise City Hall Tuesday, a pretty creepy issue put before City Council.
I don't know how many conversations I've had about rats in the last several months.
That's Councilman Jimmy Halliburton, whose constituents are calling him about so-called Norway rats, also known as street or sewer rats.
So we also have roof rats.
And that is Adam Schroeder from the Ada County Weed, Pest, and Mosquito Abatement Office. They're also getting a lot of calls about rats, but there's a problem.
Unfortunately, I have to tell folks that, we're not allowed to work on them. Those species are not included in our abatement statutes.
So Schroeder says agencies have to collaborate.
Department of Health and Welfare, I think, should be involved, as well as the Department of Agriculture and city steward departments and districts. Of course, we want to, prevent rat apocalypse.
In fact, animal code in Idaho state statute does not directly address rats.
And I have spoken to Department of Agriculture. They're more than happy, of course, to accept a petition to list rats as an invasive species.
And he adds the legislature should get involved in this.
I worry about the fact that we don't know what we don't know. We don't know how many rats are proliferating. We don't have any idea of what the scope of the problem is. The longer we ignore it, the worse it gets.
And Schroeder says, for now, Ada County may soon develop an app for citizens to start tracking the rats in their neighborhoods. In the city of Ketchum, the city council is at odds, and it came to a bit of a boil this week as Ketchum Councilman Trip Hutchinson reported that he had recently attended something called an anti-monopoly summit in Washington, D.C. But fellow council members Courtney Hamilton and Amanda Breen said Tripp's choice of traveling to a conference like that on the city's dime was inappropriate.
I have asked the staff and the mayor to draft a change in policy so that council travel in the future has to be approved.
I don't see that this has any relationship to what we deal with on a day-to-day basis as policymakers in a small town. And I feel like this one's way out of bounds.
Tripp pushed back.
Obviously, no surprise. I completely disagree with my other council members. It was only the ticket for the conference and one night in a hotel room that was covered by the city of Ketchum. I covered my own travel. And from my perspective, if we fail to see the relevancy of monopolies on our local lives in this town, that's a big failure.
So Ketchum Mayor Neil Bradshaw brought the debate to a halt, and he said a possible resolution on a policy change on travel conducted by Ketchum city leaders would likely surface at the next city council meeting. Idaho officials are weighing several proposals on how to train and recruit more doctors to the state. James Dawson breaks down the options.
Lawmakers passed a bill earlier this year requiring 10 more spots for Idaho medical students. Those seats could immediately be hosted by the University of Utah or the Idaho College of Osteopathic Medicine, or ICOM, located in Meridian. And then the law requires some kind of further expansion in the coming years. Idaho State University's idea would be to buy and take over ICOM. Dr. Rex Force oversees ISU's Health Sciences Division.
It would allow greater focus on rural tracts in eastern Idaho and keep Idaho's medical education dollars working in Idaho classrooms, labs, and communities.
ISU is still vetting the potential purchase, which could take a couple of years to close. Meanwhile, the University of Idaho wants to partner with the University of Utah on a satellite medical school in the Treasure Valley. It could train up to 30 students per class. A state working group will consider its options further at its next meeting on Monday. James Dawson, Boise State Public Radio News.
And that is today's episode of The Connector. I'm George Prentice. What do you say we get back here again on Thursday? You can stay in touch anytime on our website at boisestatepublicradio.org. Tell your friends and family about The Connector and that they can find it wherever they find their favorite podcasts. For now, I'm George Prentice. To you, thanks for listening.
Sources and methods, the crown jewels of the intelligence community. Shorthand for how do we know what's real? Who told us? If you have those answers, you're on the inside, and NPR wants to bring you there. From the Pentagon to the State Department to spy agencies, listen to understand what's really happening and what it means for you. Sources and Methods, the new national security podcast from NPR.